Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Cancer Support Monthly Meeting. And this evening, we have a very interesting lineup in that we're going to look at a routine that can serve as a guide as to what one can do. Over the past couple of days, we've been doing the streaming from Chris Beats Cancer and looking at what someone else did. And also, it pretty much speaks to what many others have done because many others have followed and have been able to get excellent results in terms of reversal of their cancer. And and that continued for many years. So it's not just going into remission for a short time, but one of the things you'd recognize is that you need to maintain health and keep your body in this state. In fact, individuals who I work with, even when they come to a point that they are told that they're in a good space, their cancer tumor markers have reduced drastically, it's within range, and their tumors are gone. I encourage them to continue with their protocol for at least 1 year more. And that is to make sure you get everything. There are what those cancer cells and tumors that you can see moving around in the bloodstream and or lymphatic system. And then there are others that you cannot see that doesn't show up. It's not enough to show up in the test. So going for a longer duration helps to really clean the body up. I want to say also that what will be shared this evening, it's like a good starter. It's a good place to start off and to get into a routine. Many times we tend to fall off the bandwagon, and then that's okay. Just get back on. Meaning don't beat yourself up and feel that you're all flat. If you feel that you've shifted off, just get back on track and and continue to maintain. So by setting a routine, the body loves routine. We're built that way. There's night and day patterns for us. Time to sleep and a time to wake and a time to eat and so forth. So if we were to set a routine as to what we do on a day-by-day basis, it can just make things simpler because you can read yourself and other people can read you. That's important. So when you need help, other people would be able to read you, know what are your likes and dislikes, and what you'd usually do. And so that can help you to get get through easier. And even for planning for yourself, it's easier for you once you have a set routine of doing things. So I have the information is in a Word format. It's a document that I would share with you afterward. And and in that way, you'd be able to follow. And I encourage you to take notes now, but at the same time, know that you would get this written material shared with you. All right, so let's have a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for our session today, and we ask for your continued grace and blessing to be with us. And even in our discussion, that all would be made simple and clear for everyone to understand. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Just a little add on to what I mentioned earlier, that it is a good starter. Um, and it's a good, what we'd share this evening. It's really going to be helpful. But at the same time, everyone's situation is different, meaning your cancer might be different. It might have multiple facets to it. And there you would need certain tweaks and more emphasis on certain things. And then, so there you have a little bit of variation. but generally, then this could work for you. All right, so I'm going to keep everyone muted. Unless you have a question, please feel free to unmute. Certainly ask questions in the chat, and as I see them, I'd respond to them. So let's just pull up the first one. Okay. All right. So there we are, and I'll sort of make it big so that we can read. Okay. All right. So I started to pull this together. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So here is something to take note of. We're alive, we're living, we're human beings on planet Earth. God has a plan for us. And his health plan is holistic. It's not just emphasis on one area and that's it, but it is holistic. So what you find is that as we are addressing cancer, that you're also preventing or treating other conditions in the body that it would benefit. And so at the end of the day, you may have high blood pressure, you may have diabetes, you may have arthritis, in addition to cancer. You may have some other autoimmune condition in addition to cancer. It also comes down to inflammation in the body. And so by what we're doing in this space can be helpful. Again, there might be certain tweaks and little bit of changes, but generally it's helpful. And so we're going to go through the laws of health and see how we are going to apply. Each of these components are huge. We can take an entire hour just to discuss them all, but these are some highlights for the different laws of health that governs the human body. So we start off with nutrition. And so here we have foods that can help our body, and we want to emphasize on a whole food plant-based diet predominantly. And that includes all your fruits, your vegetables, your grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, and exclude all animal foods, their byproducts, their flesh, their byproducts in any form. So when we think of a whole food plant-based diet, we're also looking at whole foods as compared to processed, ultra-processed foods, refined foods. So for example, flour, you want your flour to be more whole grain as compared to just being a refined flour. Yeah, so when you think, and that's important because when you go shopping and you put your hand on an item, say for example, potato chips, you know, unless you baked your own potato at home and call it potato chips, to go and purchase potato chips, that's going to be processed. And therefore, you're looking at having the whole potato instead. So think about whole foods and that I'm going to eat the whole food because I need it. My body needs it. And you're going to get the range of benefits that it has. So all of these healthy fats, your nuts and your seeds, predominantly for your nuts, we want to have them raw as opposed to baked. When it comes to the seeds, have them raw. Pumpkin seeds can be lightly roasted. When that happens, you get a little enhancement in the properties. And notice I said lightly roasted, not heavily baked or roasted, just light. And it makes it more palatable for you to be able to consume. Flaxseed needs to be ground. It needs to be broken in order for you to get the medicinal values from flaxseed. Flaxseed, chia seeds, walnuts, they give us omega-3 fatty acids. That's important for our cellular function. And many times individuals are seeking to get omega-3 fatty acids, but from fish oil capsules, and we need not go there. You can get it from your flaxseed, your chia seeds, your walnuts, or you can also get it from your seaweeds, such as kelp, spirulina, chlorella. Ask yourself, where did the fish get its omega-3 from? If we're seeking to eat fish or fish oil to get omega-3, that's secondhand because it's eating the vegetable, the seaweed, okay, in order to fill its belly with omega-3. And then we want to get it from the tissues of eating the fish. So go for firsthand and get that. We also have, so that's like 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. Flaxseed is also anti-inflammatory, and so it's great for us to use. We want foods that will support detoxification. And so that is from a cellular level, helping the cells to excrete its waste matter, as well as supporting our liver that will help in cleaning up the blood and or the colon. So lemon water in the morning tends to help with your colon to get at movement. It's stimulating to the bowels, so it helps you with bowel elimination. It's also something that you're giving the body every day to support the liver function. Green juices tend to be quite helpful because they're cleansing. Green juices such as cucumber, green apple, ginger, or you can make a blend of celery, moringa, or green power. Green power is a product. It's an item. It's you can find it in jars or in packets, which would be a blend of certain greens. So it might have wheatgrass, barleygrass, kelp, spirulina, chlorella, and bladderwrack, different types of greens. Watercress, maybe Star West brand has a packet called Green Power. And I have that. It also has some cabbage, kale in there as well. So it's a nice combination of items all in one. So when you take a teaspoon of it and you mix that in water, you're getting a lot of green items that can be helpful. So, but you can, stick within your juicer, celery. You can have moringa powder where you get a lot more serving, or you can have your moringa leaves that you can add to that. Okay, so I see a question here. Is it okay or advisable to add baking soda to the lemon water on mornings, or does it have to be warm or room temperature? Okay, so when it comes to the lemon water, we like to add it to warm water. And the objective of the warm water is sort of like opening your appetite. Warm water tends to move your lymphatic system. So we know our lymphatic system has no pump like the heart. The circulatory system has the heart that pumps and moves the blood around, but the lymphatic system doesn't. So it requires movement for us. And warm water can also help move that lymphatic system. It's important for us to have our lymphatic system moving. And then, so warm water tends to help that. Adding lemon to it also tends to be stimulating to the colon. So as you get the warmth coming down through your digestive tract and you add some lemon water there, it's going to help that bowels to move and give you nice excretion early morning, which is fantastic. We don't want anyone to be constipated, especially as you add greens or more fiber to your diet. If we don't drink adequate amounts of water, then you may get some level of constipation. It might be new to your system. And then you're wondering what's happening. We don't want constipation because then you have stools with toxins in them that can be reabsorbed into your bloodstream. And that can add to you feeling fatigued. And no, we don't want that. So the warm water helps. And the amount of it, I'll show you, it's like 4 glasses of warm water to put that weight on your colon to help push and the warm. Lemon is stimulating, apples is stimulating to your bowels because of the apple pectin. Citrus can be stimulating to your bowels. So the question also asks about whether we would add baking soda. I'm not one that promotes use of baking soda to be used internally because of its cost impact. That we can see externally baking soda when used even on our stainless steel pots could cause them to be all nice and shiny. Baking soda tends to pop up as an internal use item for reducing inflammation, or even making the system more alkaline. The lemon does that for us. So lemon, it's acid, it goes in, but the body converts it into an alkaline state in our body. So the lemon would do just that for us, and not necessarily add in a coarse item like baking soda for that. Baking soda may be used externally on the skin because the skin is acidic. And so if you add baking soda to the skin for sort of scrubs, rubs, wraps, or addressing a particular inflamed state on the skin, then that might be helpful. I've used baking soda on the skin for things like eczemas or soaking, the body externally. But I see what is said for internal system, but it's not something that we promote. And in fact, one of the books that we will use as our text guide is Counsels on Diets and Foods. And in here talks about the use of soda, baking powder, baking soda as causing inflammation in the stomach. And that's something that we don't want to have.
Dr. Nash, I have a question when you have a moment.
Yes, sure, go ahead.
I just wanted to know, so in taking once you've consumed the lemon in your, and you've placed it in your warm water and you've consumed it, do you have to wait a certain time period before you have your meal or after which to have your meal?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah. So when you have liquids, we want before mealtime, you have your liquids, you need to wait at least 15 minutes before eating your solids. Yeah, and if individuals have digestive problems, your digestion is slow, then we give a little longer time, like 30 minutes before you eat your solid. So the time you would see when we go through what do you eat, that we have liquids, we have juices and so forth. Try and get that in early. From the time you wake, you're thinking about drinking. You're thinking about drinking water. Even room temperature water you can drink. And that's a room temperature that's more on the warm side or cool. And because some individuals may be in countries where now it's winter and your room temperature water is going to be cold. So get it to nice body temperature and drink that. But you're looking to drink early morning water as a bolus. It's like you're flushing the system. This month I'm in another forum. I'm doing water emphasis, and I'm like thinking we talk about drinking water, but yet sometimes we sip, and it's like drink. If we were to drink water, it makes a huge difference for us. And once you begin to drink water, you build up an appetite for that water. An hour will pass and you'd feel like you're dying for thirst. You just want that water because the body just gets accustomed to it. So what I'm even looking at is like about 4 glasses of water. Now, add lemon to just one of those glasses, 8-ounce glasses. And when you're drinking that lemon, we need to use a straw. Use a straw to drink it because the enamel of the teeth is going to be exposed to the acid. And so if you use a straw, it's going to get to the back of the throat, protect your teeth. And then you drink some more plain water behind that. So it can be warm, it can be normal temperature water that you drink, but you're aiming for that 3 glasses, 4 glasses in order to get that movement that you're seeking, and in order to get that cleanse, in order to be hydrated, in order to get more water intake within our day.
So, Dr. Nash, you're actually saying, because in the mornings, normally when I tend to wake up very early, and
Mhm,
I always tend to drink a lot of water first.
mhm.
So, almost like probably almost a liter of water I drink, and then I
Okay.
wait for a bit, and then have maybe later on my lemon, my warm water lemon. So you're saying it's okay because all night I have not, obviously I've been sleeping
Mhm.
up early, so it's okay to drink that amount of water and then have something warm to get my lymphatic nodes moving or whatever in my system, and then after that have my meal.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
But what I'd say, um, part of that early morning intake, do your lemon. Because what I would show you is that we want to get a green juice in. And green predominantly because you want to be cleansing your blood. And these items in another page I have recommended wheatgrass and barley grass. They are phenomenal for cleansing the body and even in supporting cancer within the body to help to get rid of those cancer cells. Wheatgrass has a huge number of benefits. So, in barley grass, just the same. So, because you're going to come in with some more liquids, get a lemon up early into your morning intake. You can have a flask on the side of your bed that has some hot water in it, and you prepare and have that from the night before. So by morning, maybe it's cooled down, or you just like mix it in a glass right there. You don't have to go to your kitchen. Or you may go to your kitchen, heat up the water on the stove, and I'd say like half room temperature and the next half hot water. You get a nice blend, and there is how you can have your warm water to drink. One of them, you add your lemon. So if you got that up early, then by the time you come for what is necessary, like your green drinks, and then you have to have a meal. Some people may think it and feel like they're full already with all this liquid, that it's difficult for them to eat their meal, and we don't want that to happen. So if it is that you got some of that those liquids up early. Then even if it is that you have the powders that it's easy, you're just mixing and you drink early before the meal time, then that's fine too. But if you have to start going to blend or go to the juicer, then that would be closer to the meal time. And you give your 15-minute spacing, then you eat your solids. Another point to note about the importance of drinking much water is because it is cleansing. It's also detoxifying. It is helping the body to have sufficient plain water to flush and cleanse from a cellular level. Water is like the best item to cleanse our tissues. So the individuals who would go on a water fast and gain tremendous results. So just the water, just think about it. I need it. I cannot just think I need to do always that I need to do better on my water drinking. We need to get it. We need to be on point with our water intake. I like that you're doing the 1 liter, that's 4 cups, 8-ounce glasses. So that's great start for in the morning. And then during the day, literally drink, and it can help us tremendously. Sometimes you may not feel well, and a lot of times it's because we are dehydrated. We have fatigue, we're dehydrated. So as you really put that glass of water to your mouth and drink, repeat and drink. It can help you for the system to settle down. Some folks have high blood pressure, they have diabetes issues. It can help to normalize the glucose as well as the blood pressure. It's a great diuretic. So it can cause you to excrete. Maybe you're retaining fluids for some reason or another. Water can help you to excrete more. Sometimes you may think, well, I'm going to drink less water because I'm retaining fluid. But no, the opposite. If you drank more, it helps you to urinate more. All right, so we're moving on. Um, what are some of the foods that we want to avoid and reduce? Now, based on our
Excuse Dr. Nash, before you move on, I don't know if I stepped away. I missed if you answered my second question about how much lemon do you put in the glass of water?
I didn't see. You can put about a tablespoon of lemon juice, a tablespoon of lemon juice. But someday earlier this week, I shared the lemon garlic extract. And so if you're using that combination, you don't need to add the lemon to your water again because you're going to get a lot of lemon in that lemon garlic extract. And that's part of the protocol that I have for you, and which you would take the lemon garlic drink before your breakfast meal and your lunch meal. So if you're doing that, you don't need to add the lemon to that early morning water. Okay. So here we're looking at some of the items that we want to avoid and and reduce frying and so forth. So we want to avoid the dairy products, the milk, the cheese, the butter. Remember, we looked at it earlier as having, and the meats having the IGF-1, insulin growth factor 1, and excess methionine, which can promote cancer growth. So those are certain things that we definitely want to avoid, and any processed meats, sausages, and so forth, or meat in any form, we want to avoid that. We also want to avoid fried foods, um, even if even if it's in olive oil. Frying of the food, we want food more close prepared in its natural state as possible. And even watching the type of oil we use, if individuals are using vegetable oil, soybean oil, um, they tend to have omega-6 fatty acids, and that's a promoter for inflammation in the body. So better oil that can be used would be the extra virgin olive oil or even coconut oil, but in small amounts and and to be used, but not to go into frying, deep oil frying. No, we don't want that. If it is that you saute in a little oil, literally that there's not oil residue remaining in the pot or on your plate when you finish eat, or that your lips are all super greasy, then you can work with that.
Is grapeseed oil okay to use?
Most of the seed oils tend to go rancid after a while, so it's not one of the top oils that we would recommend in your meal preparation.
Okay.
Those seed oils, avocado oil, grapeseed oil. Um, it's not one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we have refined sugar, soda, pastries, and sweets. So sugar in any form, and some individuals may be able to tolerate a little honey or blackstrap molasses in certain items, but it's not something that you're going to be having every day. And unless it is that we recommend to you to use blackstrap molasses in certain herbal teas, in that way it has a sort of beneficial effect because it's not just blackstrap molasses, it's herbal blackstrap molasses that has cancer-fighting properties in it because of the type of herbs that you have in there. So it can be used medicinally. It can also help to boost your red blood cells, keep your iron levels up. when we have the blackstrap molasses. Okay, I see a question. What about agave as a sweetener? Uh, if it is that you're making, yeah, if it is that you're making an item and you added agave that's broad based in the item, then that may be tolerable. One of the things to note is that we're not looking to have sugar and sweeteners in our diet, in our intake, because the cancer cells love sugar. They're going to fill their bellies up with sugar and just multiply. That's the baseline to understand. So we're not going to add any sweetener to the teas, except as I mentioned, we used medicinally, we used the blackstrap molasses because of its rich properties. And sometimes individuals may be anemic because cancer can cause you to be anemic. They love iron and they take the iron from your body, and you could have some form of iron deficiency or B12 deficiency. So uh, we used we would use the blackstrap molasses therapeutically. But other than that, any other sweeteners to add, we don't. And we don't necessarily add sweeteners to our teas. We want them to be simple, plain as they are. Some of the teas can be bitter, and that's good because cancer cells do not like bitter. All right, so we want the teas to be as is.
So if you have to use the blackstrap molasses, are you saying maybe about a teaspoon of it, or if you have to use it?
Um, it depends on how much tea you have. So
Mm,
we made a batch of tea that might run for about 3 days. You're looking like anywhere like about 12 cups. Then that would be like a tablespoon. Could be more. There is something that we do call herbal chemo. And in herbal chemo, you have some strong anti-cancer herbs in there. And we would also use the blackstrap molasses in there. The reasoning behind it is this, that the cancer cells are going to come for the sugar. They're going to come for the iron properties in the blackstrap molasses. But when it comes for that, it's just like you put poison down for your ants and so forth. When it comes for it, it's going to take it into itself, but it's toxic to the cancer cells. That's why you have the T that's anti. So it's going to be toxic to them. So it's using the sweetener, the blackstrap molasses as a bait and attracting the cancer cell, but at the same time, it's a toxic component for them and it's going to kill them. We use the same
okay.
concept. Medicinally, the same concept might be used for chemotherapy, where something sweet may be given. Some protocols are like that. Something sweet given before, like 30 minutes before chemo. And so when they come for that glucose, it's toxic at the same time. So some places do that. Question about
Thank you.
lemon. Welcome. About the lemon garlic extract. Yes, it is homemade, and we will give you the recipe to make it. Let me make sure to put it in this that I'm sharing with you, but we did share it earlier in the week. Okay. Seems like cancer cells have a brain of their own. They do. They they do. They're wild and they take over. They're bold-faced. They refuse to die like other cells, you know. It's evil. It's really evil. Um, Okay, so we want to eliminate these sugars and sweet items, pastries that has all the sweet, the white flour products, again, they're processed, alcohol, coffee, highly processed foods. So we're not going to go into snacking and all of those things. Again, whatever we're putting into our body is either going to feed disease or fight the condition. Whatever we put into our body should be all health promoting. We want to change our body within 3 months' time or 4 months. and just change our cells, change the status within our system, change our gut microbiome by eating differently. Hydration is important here, as we talked about earlier. Anywhere like 8, but I certainly go for the 12. Um, Definitely. It's easy to get 12 glasses of water. Um, Sometimes you're sitting talking to somebody, drink water. Yeah, you're sitting in a conversation, just drink. Yes, it may send you to the toilet and flush. Look back in the toilet bowl. If your urine is pale, yellow to clear, that's good. Unless it is that it's colored by the teas you're drinking, or your B vitamins that you're taking. But other than that, you really want a marker to show your urine is pale yellow to clear, and to indicate that you're drinking sufficient water. Another thing too, because you might be using herbal items, you want that to move around in your body. And if there's less water volumes, it's not going to circulate as well. So we do need much. Herbal teas, these are like mild items, but there are a lot more strong herbal um, herbs that can be used for this, for your condition. So again, as I said, when it comes to the herbal, that would need to be specific depending on your type of cancer. But there are some, certainly think about cleansing your liver with milk thistle. Down the line, we always need a liver support. We always need something to help the blood, clean the blood with red clover and burdock. When we think about cleansing and using these herbal agents, think about a pool. People have pools, and how do we clean a pool and maintain that? We would have certain tablets or things that you would put in the pool. So when you do that, it cleans it up from a chemical perspective, and it gets all the pH balance back and everything. So similarly within the body, whatever we eat, whatever we drink, we're sort of changing up the chemistry within our system. And when we have these teas, you hear that this is good for the liver, you hear that this is good for the blood, and it's going to help to clean your blood. It's going to help to clean your cells. Some of the teas and herbal agents can even cause those cancer cells to self-destruct, cause them to recognize, hey, what am I doing here? I'm no longer fit for purpose. I'm not doing the work that I was designed to do, and self-destruct. It's supposed to do that naturally. And remember, we also have like cancer stem cells in the system. Those are like baby cells that haven't really taken on any face yet. But they're cancerous. They're just born bad. The DNA is gone. They're just born that way, and we need to get those eliminated. So that's why you find certain herbs, mushrooms, and so forth can help to do that. The green juices can help nicely. That's using food as medicine. Your wheatgrass, your barley grass, your celery, your green apples, your cucumbers, all of those are helpful with cleansing. Okay, let's see what we have. Barley cup, drink. We want now barley cup. I think barley cup is like the roasted barley. Am I correct? No, that's not what we're talking about. We want the green barley leaf. That's what we're looking for its medicinal value. The green barley leaf. And depending on where in the world you are, you may have access to wheatgrass seeds and barley seeds, and you can grow them, sprout them, grow them, and just trim them off and add it to your juice blend or juicer. And that is excellent. It's better than even using the dehydrated one, the powder. The powder works, but the fresh grass works even better. Uh, Soursop, why we would say moderation in soursop. Soursop is strong, and we don't want to overdo. And there are also not sufficient studies on soursop to give guidance, because it's more within um, the So for example, like red clover, they're like set um measurements for red clover. There's set measurements for milk thistle because of study that has been done and tested and shown and so forth. When it comes to soursop, we don't have that. So we just gotta go based on protocols of folks who have done it before, what they're doing, just looking at its a leaf, how do we prepare it to get its medicinal value out of it, which would be boiling because the leaves are pretty thick. And we don't want to overdo because it's quite strong for the body. So and can put a burden on the liver, the same liver that we're seeking to work well for us. So we don't want anything that could be overpowering to the organs, to the liver or your kidneys. So that's why there. How much and how often should we drink it? So we can drink it several times in a week, unless it's in a combination item that we have soursop in addition to other herbs, which is good. So if we did soursop, but at the same time you had milk thistle, at the same time you had dandelion, you have some buffers in there that can be protective to the liver too. So it's toxic to the cancer cells. And the soursop or graviola might be another name for it. You have it already in preparations like graviola capsules, and on there we'll have measurements. So that's how we can do it. Usually for soursop, we would use like 7 leaves to 4 cups. So depending on how many cups of tea that we're making, you double it, triple it, quadruple it, depending on if you're making 9 cups or 12 cups of tea. Then you can do 7 multiplied by 4 sets if you're doing 12 cups of tea. So we use like about seven leaves to 4 cups, and that could give you an idea. What about eating the soursop fruit? Excellent. Eating the soursop fruit, it's been shown that individuals do get benefits from that as well. Yeah. Okay, so let me switch and share another page. Okay, lifestyle. Um, okay, so here we also go to look at some of the lifestyle practices. Sunlight. We need the sun. So we need the sun, and you're looking to be out there for anywhere like 45 minutes to an hour and a half of sunlight every day, as much as possible. If the rain is falling, if it's cloudy, then that's not going to give us the sun that we need. If your winter time and you see sunlight, it's not going to help to make vitamin D. Vitamin D deficiency can lend itself to autoimmune condition, including cancers, multiple types of cancers. And we need sunlight. We need to sunbathe. When you think about now, cancer is inflammatory to our body. And anytime you have any inflammatory condition, you need to sunbathe. And so that's literally sitting in the sun between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. It's not hard. It's doable. We need to do it. We will also recommend taking vitamin D as a supplement, but we also need the sunlight. So what I do is like I sit in the sun, and this is what I encourage individuals to do here at the center. And we sit in the sun together. And so we sit in the sun, but I like to turn my back to it for a couple reasons. For one, ladies, we are going to be mindful. The sun is going to make me black. It's going to be on my face. It's going to change up my skin. I got a tan that I don't want, or I start getting spots on my face. The face a little tender for that. So that's okay. We still want to be out in the sun. So that's why I would turn. So the sun is not on the face. And when you let it be to the side of you, to the back of you, more to the back of you, it's more tolerable. You don't feel, as uncomfortable. You're able to take it better. And then another thing that I do at some time in sitting there in the sun, I would say, okay, let's just raise our jersey up a little bit, because the bark tends to have the quicker absorption rate. Now, it will get through your fabric, all right? It will do that. But for respiratory issues, for kidney issues, for circulatory issues, and the liver, and your kidneys tend to help you make vitamin D. I have found that a lot of added healing boost when my back gets that sunlight. And as I recommended to other people, it happens quicker. So we'll sort of like let the back be exposed for about 10 minutes, and that helps. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you're feeling crappy. Make sure that day you get into the sun. And even if it is that you can only afford less time in the sun, 10, 15 minutes or whatever, let your back get it. And if you sort of raise your clothing and you let your back get that sunlight for about 10, 15 minutes, it's going to help to change you for the better. But you're not going to do that all time. So that's just for a short duration of letting direct exposure. Again, it's going to penetrate through your clothing. But the 45 minutes, what are you going to do when you sit there? Close your eyes and pray. Now, we definitely need to have a closer connection with God in our healing program. You need to pray like never before. You need to formulate a relationship with God like never before. Take your Bible out there and read. Amazingly, when I go out into that sunlight, when I'm outdoors, I would be reading literature, even smaller print, and do not need to have my glasses. I just use these glasses for all the Zooms we've done through COVID. Then I started to need it and to make it anti-glare and all of that. And of course, it does make everything clearer for me. But when I'm out there in the open and I'm reading any size of the work of material, I don't need the glasses at all because it's sufficient light. So you read out there, you pray, um, don't have your phone on you in that heat. You can close your eyes and focus on deep breathing. Try and get more oxygen in. If you're sitting out there with someone, you might be chit-chatting, talking, or just simply being relaxed, feeling the cool breeze on your skin, sweating also. It can help you to do. And the more water you drink, have a water on the side of you in the shadows so that you can drink water. The more water you drink, the more you're going to perspire. You want that. Even if you showered before, that's okay. You want a sweat. You want to break a sweat and you want to maintain that sweating because cancer cells do not like heat. Well, what we're doing out there is getting radiated every day. And that's natural infrared light radiation that people would have to go and pay for. So that's what you can get, especially in the Caribbean. We have sunlight available to us all through the year. And so as we sit there, just do something that would occupy your time. But you would soon, by understanding its benefits and how you would feel after sitting in the sun, you will love it. You will crave it. You will want to go back every day and do it. Um, Again, we don't want to burn the skin. So you don't want to get sunburned. Now, if you're a lighter complected individual, like a Caucasian type, you do not need to spend as long as the hour and a half because your skin is so light. You don't have melanin, that sunscreen, natural sunscreen, melanin, darker skin. So your skin is so light, the sunlight would penetrate through you quicker and help you there. So your duration can be anywhere like about 15 minutes, 30 minutes maybe. But have on clothing. All the hands don't need to be darkened. and it will penetrate your clothing and help us. We want to perspire. So there's so many things that you can do. You can walk out in the sunlight. You can do your walk exercise at that time. You can be in the garden. You can be washing a vehicle. You can be scrubbing the yard, whatever you're doing, but you're in the sun or just calmly sitting. But as you do 45 minutes, you can go in the shadows, you can come back in. Half of you can be in the shade, and the next half of you in the sunlight. It's gonna still help. So whatever we do, make sure we're getting that sunlight. And yes, it is between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. When the UVB rays are higher. It's not the early morning sun and it's not the late evening sun that we are seeking to get to help benefit the body and to make vitamin D. In the core of the day is when. So when I'm talking to you about I'm going out into the sunlight, I'm there like all 11, 12, 1 o'clock. And that's nice. And especially this time of the year, the breeze is cool and it's going to be helpful. So for us, if you have sunlight, this is one way in which it would help you to sweat. If you're in a country that you're not getting that sunlight like now, like I say, if you're seeing the sun, it's not a kind that would help you to make vitamin D. You're not going to get that until next year, March, as spring comes in, late March as spring comes in. So we still want to sweat. Even now, December, January, February, we still need to sweat. So you would need to get into a sauna. You can buy a portable sauna or go to a sauna near you. You can do that sweating like 3 times for the week, 5 times in a week, almost every day, but interchange it. So for example, here we have a sauna at the center and we'll interchange it. Sometimes we're in the sauna to sweat and sometimes we're in the sunlight. Um, but then you want to sweat. So you do the sauna, you can have a steamer that helps you to sweat. You can also go into a hot tub, get a tub, fill it with water that's hot enough temperature to about 104. If you have neuropathy, diabetic neuropathy, nerve ending problems, do not do the hot water because you may not be able to tell what's too hot for you and burn yourself. Be cautious. But another thing is you may perspire, but it's not just about breaking a sweat. You want to really sweat more. So you're looking at anywhere like about 45 minutes sweating. Sometimes for you to sweat, you might need to cover up yourselves with blanket, with sheet, with quilt, layers of this, and then you start to sweat. Drink a hot cup of water, and then you start to sweat. If you drank like peppermint tea, that can help you to enhance perspiration and get rid of, those cells. Those cancer cells don't like heat. We want to eliminate them. See, questions come in. What about a sunblock on the face? Because you'd be doing just that, blocking the sun. Um, don't do the sunblock on and unless it's an all natural item, then okay. But like I said, just turn around instead of facing the sun, turn your chair around, whatever you might be doing, or wear a cap that has the top open, so your head wouldn't get hot. That has a top open, and it's like a sun visor, to sort of protect. You can do that as well. Um, there's bathing with soap inhibit the sun absorption and vitamin D. So after we do the sun, we would not advise that you go shower right away. You can dry your skin off with a towel, and certainly change your clothing. It's going to be drenched wet, and with toxins in it, so you're not going to keep that on you. But you just dry your skin off and stay a couple hours before taking a shower, because just going to wash that off could disturb the production of vitamin D in you. Okay. Let's see. Exercise, super important. Wow. Exercise is super important as we need to walk. It helps to promote circulation. You're going to walk for at least 30 minutes twice a day. Physical activity of utmost importance. Like I mentioned sometime before, that there are coaches and exercise oncologists that focus mainly on exercise for cancer individuals, and they have seen the benefits of movement. So what they would say to me, you can do the 60 minutes straight, but not everybody might be able to accomplish that. So you do the doable. So if it is that you are able to get 30 minutes in, then do 30 minutes, but twice a day. And let it not be the only time that you are moving. Get up and walk. If you're working in a work environment, get up and walk to someone instead of calling them. Just seek many opportunities for movement. If you're at home, keep moving up and down, moving. Movement is important. Physical activity is important, not being sedentary. Measure the amount of time you spend sitting as compared to moving. Sleep is medicine. Sleep is important. As you get more sunlight, your sleep is going to improve. And we want to aim for anywhere 8 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. So your bedtime should be like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. And through the night, you're going to sleep. Let us not cheat on sleep. Sleep is medicine. When we're sleeping, we get melatonin. We get melatonin being produced. That is an antioxidant that helps to suppress tumor growth when we have melatonin in the blood. In fact, some protocols will have melatonin added to it. Melatonin and aloe vera is a nice combination to help with the situations of cancer. But melatonin can be achieved naturally. If you sleep in a dark, quiet, cool room, you get deeper sleep, and it helps you tremendously. So you want to be asleep, nobody to disturb you when you're resting. It's important. And if you're having difficulty with sleeping, let's talk. Maybe it's some medication that you're on. Maybe you're stressed. Maybe it might be something stimulating that you're eating, or the time of eating. Try not to eat later than 6:30 p.m. at night. That's going to disturb you with your restfulness. Maybe it is that your hormones are, acting up and playing on you, so it disturbs your rest. Then let's use things like the chamomile teas, not in isolation, but in combination. So I would say lemon balm, chamomile, passion flower, for example. Have those three. Valerian. Have a combination of at least three D3 items, herbal agents, and drink that in the day, in the afternoon. So by nighttime, it can be active working for you and help you to get better sleep. When you do those calming teas in combination, it works better than in isolation. All right, so I see chat question. Pain, yes, pain can also disturb your rest. So yeah, we want to make sure that we're using something that could suppress the pain and help ease the pain. Now, some of these calming agents can help to ease the pain as well. We use valerian for pain, white willow bark, and as items that can help with pain. And try not to use one item, but a combination of items. Lobelia might help with pain as well. So anything that's quite like a sedative, calming to the nervous system, can also help with the pain. Stress. Okay. Highlights here. We talked about daily devotion and prayer. It's important. This is important for us to memorize the healing promises in the Bible. And when you feel down, you feel on the low, somebody says a negative thing to you, you can use those promises to repeat back to them or to yourself to lift your spirit up. Have faith in God always. Don't let your guard down and go down a rabbit hole where your self-pity stories. No, we gotta keep the mind positive. And when we do that, then we're having less inflammation in the body. But anytime we tend to look at the negative, talk negative, listen to things negative, we're on the internet several times and have all these reels and things that just pop up. No negativity. And because I don't dwell in that space, if I see or hear or watch or read anything negative, it disturbs me for surely the next 24 hours and more. And so you don't want all that added, extra stuff on you. And it may not even be something personal. So you don't want any negativity. You're not going to engage in negative conversations. People start up a talk. No, no, sorry, I gotta go. I'm not having this discussion. I'm not listening to negative talk about the neighbor, this, that, whatever. No. So you have to set your boundaries and keep the mind in a positive state. Again, negativity tends to depress us. It tends to be inflammatory. And therefore, have a song in your heart. Listen to hymns. They stay with you. The angels would minister to your mind and keep bringing them up to you all the time. And you're doing your chores and you find yourself singing. That's good. Now, keep a journal that you're writing your experience as you go along, but also mainly for writing at least 3 things every day that you're grateful for. So it's a gratitude journal, and every day you're going to find 3 things that you're grateful for, even if it's the same thing that you had yesterday, but some days would be different and you'll be grateful for something. So that's going to help to keep us. Yeah, practice slow, deep breathing for seconds in, hold for seconds, exhale for longer. And as you do the deep breathing, it can help calm you down. Uh, Temperance. We want to stay away from the tea, coffee, tobacco, sugar. Eating at set times is important. So whether we choose 2 meals a day or 3 meals a day, we need 5 hours in between our meal time. And then we want to be able to we want to be able to eat. So either you're eating between 6 and 7 a.m., between 12 and 1 p.m., or between 6 and 6:30 p.m. That's giving yourself 5 hours in between meals. So if you're doing 3 meals a day, if you're doing 2 meals, you can eat between 8 and 9, or 7 and 8. And then 5 hours later, either between 1 and 2 or 2 to 3. The later you get into eating, try and let it not be sweet things, even like coconut water is sweet, or or any or fruits that are overly sweet. Apples tend to be a nice item for an evening meal. So we want, yeah, let's see, fresh air. Keep your windows open, and your doors open as much as possible. Get that fresh air in your living space. What I've noticed is that sometimes individuals do not feel well and you stay in the bedroom too long. Even if you're not feeling well, still come out and sit on a chair. Get a chair that you can feel comfortable in, sort of laid back, and even sleep outdoors. Open your windows of your room and let fresh air come into it every single day. Understand that if we're not well and you have all these smelly oils and all kinds of stuff, and that's in your room, it's gonna make your room heavy. You want clean air in your room. So you don't want to be locked into a room, even if you have pain, even if you don't feel great. Try and come out and sit outdoors. If you could spend most of your time outdoors, that's the best thing. So even though you sit in the sun, fine, but you will just be under a shaded area, under a shady tree, under a veranda, and uh, and you're there, and you could sleep, and you could just be awake. You can eat outdoors. Let us not be too much indoors. You just want the body to be airy, free, clear, get more fresh air to inhale, and not be locked into a room. So manage that, watch that. Even if it's winter by you, open the window sometime in the day and let that stale air come out and fresh air come in. We have, if you're winter, put on winter clothes, put on warm clothes, put on a gloves. You're in the house, you keeping warm, but your room needs to be clean. All right, I've seen times where individuals, they're not well and they put the AC in their room to keep them cool, and they're locked in the room all the time. And they don't open the windows at all to exchange that stale, polluted air. So this is important that we get outdoors, the body, but also you let fresh air come into your home, into your room, especially your bedroom, and keep your room clean. And that's going to be helpful. All right. And then the last one, water. We talked about that. Okay. So there's one more. Let me see. I think I see a chat. If someone is taking aspirin, can they still use valerian? Um, okay. So aspirin is like willow bark. The white willow bark is the herb, and aspirin has come out of that. Um, so yeah, you can use valerian and you can use the lobelia even if you're on aspirin, but don't stay with the aspirin. It's better you use the willow bark because aspirin tends to make the stomach bleed over time. So you don't want to be on aspirin for long, but because of the pain, that might be an item that the individual would recommend to you. Um, but it can cause internal bleeding. It's harsh on the stomach. Okay. What number 3? Okay, so let me just share this screen here. We're going a little bit longer, but I really want you to get this
Got you. Okay.
the holidays. Okay. So let's look. So here we have the integrative plan. So our morning routine, you want to wake up in the morning. While you're still on your bed, you should be like communicating to God. You open your eyes, you pray, you set aside, you go to do your devotion, and you're just praising God. It's important for us to praise Him. And then you're going to have your morning water, light stretching, and your 30 minutes walk, and you come back for your meal, your breakfast. So stretching is important as warming up and cooling down on our movements. And so it's part of what we can do. Next, you want to have a healthy diet. I have more in the diet, which I want to take you through. Your herbal item, so garlic being predominant, and some of you would have seen that research that I put out earlier in the week about different types of foods and its benefits on the cancer, killing the cancer cells, causing them to self-destruct, and or even just to be toxic to them to die. So just we have some stuff here. But there are a whole lot more based on it. Again, some of these things you'd need to talk to your oncologist as to what you're doing if you're doing anything that's conventional. If you're not doing any conventional treatments, then speaking with someone who can guide you along to be able to use herbal agents. And I would do that on a consultation basis, one-on-one, where we focus on what your situation is and what you can do. And that's something very important to look at. Certainly adding different types of herbal agents and any other items that we might suggest to help you to get rid of these cancer cells. Now, so detoxification, there are a whole list of things that you can do, but having some warm foot baths are helpful. And that's like a 20 minutes of your feet in warm water. Close to hot, not going to burn your feet. Again, if you have neuropathy, nerve ending problems, don't do the hot water because you will not be able to tell if it is too hot for you. But soaking in Epsom salt is a nice way of soothing, healing, can help to reduce some pain because with the warm and Epsom salt, that would be infused into your bloodstream and move around, and Epsom salt can help to reduce pain. The individuals who might soak in a tub with Epsom salt in it and help to reduce pain. Contrast showers are important when it comes to boosting, building that immune system, and maintaining that immunity. Contrast meaning that you have some hot water, as hot as you can take it, then you turn the faucet on to cold and get a 30 seconds cold. So 3 minutes hot, 30 seconds cold. You can do a warm 1 minute, 3 minutes. You can start off with a 5 minutes, let your body get really warm up, and then you turn the faucet on to cold. If you think that your cold water is not cold enough because you're in the Caribbean, because the sun is shining on your pipelines and it's keeping it warm, put a bucket with ice in it. All right, put a bucket with ice and you can just have a little dipper or bowl and throw that on you. Scream, it's going to be okay. The cold also tends to help to produce more red blood cells. And sometimes you might be anemic, but the contrast showers and even as if you're in winter time and you're taking a shower, end with the cold. Okay, just a short hit of the cold, and that would help you to be more tolerant to the cold temperatures. If you know that you're going out and you're going to be in AC, and with a cold shower, and you'd be able to tolerate the cold air better. And emotional support, hymns, family involvement is important. So there are times when having that family support is helpful to you. Your meals would be different. If they eat the same way that you're eating, then that's great because now they've recognized that your menus need to be different. And in supporting you, that they are helping to prepare some of your meals, you're doing it. They sit and they eat with you. That's good for you. When you're going out walking, if you can have their family support walking with you, great. Helping you with preparing your meals or doing your chores, that's how they can help you in this situation. You may see that you have so much to do to take care of yourself that some of the menial tasks and others can do. There are times when I tell my clients, I said, you don't go cleaning and dusting, especially you're tired and you have to take care of yourself. And, some of us ladies want to clean and dust and everything need to be perfect. I said, close your eyes, put your hand in front of your eyes, and you just focus on your space and area. That's as much as you can do, or else you're going to be overly fatigued trying to do all things. There are big people in the house. You have no babies. You just keep focused. So a family need to know that they should help. They need to help and also to help you to achieve what you need to do. Because sometimes they may just go about life and continue to lay burdens at your feet, continue to lay chores at your feet, continue to think that life is going on as normal, as usual. But that's an additional thing on you that somebody else can do. All right, so your main priority is to help focus on doing the things that you can do for yourself. You need to bathe, you need to soak, you need to get sunlight, you need to drink teas, you need to have those teas prepared ahead of time. You need to have your meals prepared, right? So if you're not going to get chance to do that, that's problematic, and that's how you fall off track, and then you just feel so, like you're not getting ahead. So it's important for you to have a candid conversation with your family. I need your help. This is not times like normal. And there's certain things that I have to do. So you need to step up and do take on additional responsibilities. Maybe you have children, maybe you have to go to work still. And so there are things that you cannot do as before. And so you need that additional help. They can come in and do that. Keeping a calm, peaceful environment is important. Again, refraining from them negatively talking to you. To be that buffer and cushion. There's some people where they don't talk to the world. All the church members and the friends and the other family members who want to tell you, do this, do that, and it might be so much. So there's some people who they don't talk to others. They put another family member to talk to the world, give reports, take in information, filter, and then you decide what you bring to me. You don't need to listen to all the news reports on the radio, on the TV. Too much negativity. You don't need to be reading the newspaper. Too much negativity. All right. The world is going to go on and you're not going to change it. So create your space of peace, of calm. It's okay to take your phone off. It's okay to shut it down. There are times when I have stuff to do and I'm not getting to do it. Sorry. And I say, okay, tomorrow is going to be a head down focus day to get things done. And I put my phone down on the side and I don't watch it until in the evening. Then you respond to everything and the world held up. It didn't fall apart. So, make sure you're getting what you need to do right. And the rest, okay. So let's see. The final one I have for you is so in that one that we just looked at, you see the morning, and now I'm going to show you what do you eat and how do you bring your teas in and your supplements and so forth. And that will go through the day. So you're just as a recap, we're having you get up in the morning, you have your devotion, you have your warm waters, and then you go for your morning exercise. You come back, you have your green teas, you have your breakfast. Then that's why we have set meal times. You have your green juice, and then you have your breakfast. Then in between the meal, I'll show you now is where you can have your herbal tea item 2 hours after you finish eating your breakfast. You can have your herbal teas. You can, your supplements. There's some supplements that you will have with your breakfast meal. You have your herbal tea in between on an empty stomach. Then you have your lunchtime. You may have some more tea. Drink it out before evening, before 5 p.m. The tea needs to be in you in order to be beneficial. Wormwood may be added to the tea. It's bitter. Olive leaf may be added to that tea. I might have some neem in there. It's bitter, but it's okay. Cancer cells do not like bitter things. And you're going to survive. So drink the teas. It needs to be in the body, not in the flask, not in the jar, not, get it in the body, and the sooner the better. Drink it, drink mouthful at a time, get it in you. And then you may do a supper. If you're doing a supper time, anywhere between 6 and 6:30, something very light, maybe some pears, some apples, banana or something. And then that's it. You drink all your water in between. So you're drinking tea, you're drinking water, you're drinking your herbal teas, you're drinking water. Yes, you may go to the toilet and flush and poop, and all those things are great ways to get the waste matter out of the system. And then you go and sleep. So that's what your day should look like. Maybe you have to go to work. Getting the teas early in the morning is helpful. Doing the juices early in the morning is helpful. Get a nice airtight glass jar or mason jar and cap that juice when you juice it in the morning, and you have it ready. Okay, so let me show you what we're gonna look at the fourth one. Okay. One of the things too, as you have your teas, prepare your teas ahead of time. I like to set it up in the night so it's It's brewing, it's steeping, it's soaking over the night, and in the morning you have it that you can just have to drink. Your herbal teas do not have to be hot, do not have to be drunk hot. They can be room temperature. You may make a batch that would last for about 3 days and portion them out. So all you gotta do, or if you have it in a glass jar in the refrigerator, early morning, you pour that out. And this is the amount you're gonna drink for today. And it's down the counter, it's gonna get down to room temperature. So it's easy for you to just grab and drink. Similarly for your juices, early morning, get your juicing done. Again, setting routine. You're in the kitchen, the night before you put your vegetables out. You scrub them. This is like, if you prep, it's like a second you helping you. So if you scrub your vegetables the night before, you have them there, they're on the counter, they're on a plate, they're waiting. You have your juicer already set up, it's waiting. So when you hit the kitchen, you know exactly what you're going to prepare. So prepare your meal before. You know exactly what your salad's going to look like, what your meal going to look like, what your juice going to look like for the day. You can just take item into the juicer, story finish, wash it up, put it out to dry, and just working by routine. And that would get you done. So if you did your preparation the night before, by setting things up, you have your meals, setting things up. Maybe you cooked and you want that you can eat a second meal that's been refrigerated and you have to warm it up. That's fine. You don't have to do fresh meals every day. If you can tolerate a warmed up meal, that's okay. But even if you had to make your fresh salads every day, you have your items, you're shoved for it, you know where they are, that you can just simply grab. Even if you have it in the refrigerator, you identify, you just grab this, that, and you pull it together. So even for the lettuce, sometimes we'd wash lettuce leaves like early morning, but that you're going to have it for your lunch meal. So by the time lunchtime comes, you don't have to go back to the kitchen and spend a whole lot of time in the kitchen again. Prepare your salad early, and it's then the refrigerator, just keeping at a good temperature. So as the time draws nigh, you just pull it out, and it takes away from making the task so daunting and more doable. So here's what we can do. So for the I just want you to see the whole plate. So as you see here, this plate, we're having half of the plate with fiber. We're looking for fiber. You're looking for lots of raw foods. You're looking for fiber food to be in your diet. And at the same time, you have some cooked food. Now, earlier when we were doing our sessions, we saw where individuals would do all raw, but all raw is not sustainable. If you did all raw for a day or two in a week, that's okay. But for all raw continuously, it's not sustainable. And as you saw when Chris was talking, he did all raw for 3 months, but then he had to go and do the cooked food. So I don't promote all raw, and for several reasons, and I have a couple of them mentioned here. When you do heat carrots, for example, you get more beta carotene. So carrots, I might juice carrots raw, but I also eat carrots that might be cooked, that might be steeped, or cooked in some special way. We don't want to overcook. So just minimal cooking, sufficient to bring the food in at the right finish. But at the same time, we want to get fiber. So you really want to have a lot of fiber. Fiber will help feed your beneficial gut bacteria that will help to promote a healthy immune system. And on a plant-based diet, your internal colon and small intestines, it's going to change and be different from when anyone was eating animal foods. So you want that change to happen, more fiber. So some of it we'll eat raw. Your fruits we'll have raw, or your berries, or your oranges, banana, cucumbers, tomatoes, mangoes, all of those things can be raw. Pineapple. Then you have lettuce that you can eat raw. certain countries may have other types of greens that they can eat raw. Raw that's comfortable. So you may have like in the US, I know you have like the spring mix. You have like the you have lettuce, but you also have like um but butter something, whatever the name is, and baby type of greens. Uh, and they're palatable. They're great. They're succulent. You know, you bite into them. It's easy to chew. It's not as fibrous and hard. So those you can have raw. Watch those mix. They may have spinach in there. So don't go for eating the raw spinach continuously as part of your green salad because the oxalic acid in it's going to cause you to have kidney stones. Okay, so we want to cook that spinach. But the other greens, you may be able to do them. You can add olives to your salad, and then you can make a salad dressing to make it more palatable and eat. I'll go for like a whole plate of lettuce. And in that way, you eat up that and get a really nice raw. Having a raw salad and adding the cabbage to it. Purple cabbage looks pretty, but it's not going to be helpful as much as if we added a little heat to it. In addition to the raw cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, raw kale, all of those, they have compounds in them that could affect our thyroid gland, and you start reducing thyroid hormones being produced in your body, and you can create another situation with hormonal imbalances. So, and then an enlarged thyroid gland. So we want to have those cabbage family foods, cruciferous family of foods. We want to heat them up. And we certainly will look for it on the other half of the plate here and gain the benefits of having fiber. Okay, so yeah, and lots of individuals on cancer tend to go on all raw. As I said, it's not sustainable because the body do get weakened over time. There are some nutrients that would be enhanced, like tomatoes, for example. When heated, you get more lycopene. And individuals who have prostate cancer need lycopene. You can purchase lycopene in a bottle. Even tomato sauce and tomato paste has more lycopene in it than a raw tomato. So we will eat the tomato raw, but at times you can cook the tomato as well. Individuals who go, like I just mentioned, all raw, you affect your thyroid gland. Yes, that can cause hormonal imbalances and then start affecting like those glandular areas of the body, the prostate gland, the breast. It's mammary glands in there, ovaries. So anywhere you have gland areas in the body, it's going to sort of cause an imbalance and impact in them. So the raw, so I would choose some raw. For me, beetroot is an item that you could choose. Some people would choose it raw, but I have to peel that beetroot, and especially that tough skin, like on the heads. If that goes in juiced and even for raw juice of beetroot, my throat gets irritated, and you may do that and not recognize the connection. So I'd say let's steam the beetroot and we blend it and add it, or just have it in the food, and that helps. Okay, so someone with a heart issue, if the person can still do the contrast bath. Yes. Yes, you can still do the contrast bath. Okay. Yep. Sister Alpha, you want to ask a question?
Oh, no, doc. Thank you, though.
All right, so this is what a plate looks like. Then this quarter of the plate, you want to have our carbs, and next quarter, our protein item that we will make sure to have there, and ending the food. this is like for all nutritional plates, it doesn't look different, except that we want to make sure we have certain items in there. Let's move on. For seasonings, here are some. Like there are anti-cancer foods that will have a positive impact on those cancer cells, meaning to cause them to self-destruct, to cause them to reduce their multiplication, to even cut off their blood supplies to those tumors. Chive, cumin, garlic, onion, oregano, pimento. Use our pink Himalayan sea salt. These are things we're going to add in our food. Rosemary. Rosemary is like a top item that you can use for your seasoning that I also use in certain teas in that we're making in our cancer teas. I use rosemary in there, and it's top in antioxidants. You may have heard about people talking about green tea for antioxidant. That's in the shadows. That is like green tea has a very low antioxidant level in the hundreds compared to rosemary that has in the thousands. Rosemary, as you compare gram per gram, it has anywhere like about 60 something thousand antioxidant components. So rosemary is like a high antioxidant item. So depending on the type of cancer you have, if it is not hormonal, because rosemary is hormonal, oregano is hormonal. If it's not hormonal, and mainly like for men with prostate issue, we want to see rosemary in their teas. I'll literally go to the market and buy rosemary in a bundle and add it to the teas for individuals with prostate cancer and get that in there. So you use your sweet peppers, your thyme, your turmeric. These are items that you want to add in your preparation of your food. And here you're looking at having these items as with medicinal value in your food preparation. So it's not just about for flavor, but largely to help with your food and to fight. There's some things like garlic. One, if you're cooking with garlic at the start of preparing your food, simply crush the garlic. You peel the garlic, crush it while you're cutting up other things. So it gets anywhere for 10 to 20 minutes of just sitting there. You find the allicin properties begin to activate and release, and that's what you want. So you're going to cook with the garlic. You don't just want to cut straight into the pot. Crush it early, have it sitting there while you cut up the rest of your food and get that going. Broccoli. Now, broccoli has sulforaphane. Similarly, like your cabbage and so forth, but broccoli is a great one for that. And what the nutritionists in the oncology space have shown, and this is from an international level now, they have shared that with broccoli, you sort of like steam it. And so you get your steam pot on, you get that water hot, and then you put the broccoli in there for about 5 minutes. So with the heat, you cover it. And with the heat, it's going to cause some cooking to that broccoli. But after 5 minutes, you switch it off, not longer. There you get an active amount of sulforaphane that can help with fighting those cancer cells for you. So watch that. It's very little scientific, but it's going to be beneficial. Our cooked tomatoes enhances lycopene on our grains and legumes and so forth, has anti-nutrients in them. We want to build our blood. We want to balance our glucose levels, where if you're doing all raw, you tend to feel sort of like your glucose is dropping on you and you're not getting that nice balance. And so having some cooked food. Another thing with going all raw, people may lose a lot of weight, and that may not be encouraging. They may not want that. So having some cooked food there. But notice in the plate I shared with you, it's like a lot of fiber, and some of it can be cooked. You have a lot, you can do a huge plate of lettuce. Here at the center, I would have times where I'd say, we're going to go on a lettuce challenge. Who can eat the most lettuce? And literally encourage eating a plate of lettuce. If you added a dressing on top of that from sunflower seeds or even hummus that has less fat in your hummus, you can just mix that in and it makes your salad so palatable. The fiber that we get. So for example, with my cabbage, I would steam it and then cut it up like how you will have your coleslaw and so forth, and then mix that in a dressing. And it makes it quite palatable and you're able to have more. I've also done blends. So I would sort of steam and blend vegetables. I didn't get a chance to pull up the pictures, but I do have it. And maybe in our next session, I'll show you those pictures of plates. And I had one time like 2 celery stalks, one whole onion, a whole head of garlic, and about 2 carrots. And I was able to eat that in a meal. I did it for myself personally because what I'm sharing with you is what I'll do for me and test and make sure, okay, how will this work? And I steamed it. Now you would sit down and eat a whole 2 carrots, you would sit down and eat a whole 2 celery, gonna take you so long. But if we steamed it and then I blended it and I was able to eat it up like a soup. I still had it portioned out in my bowl, and I see the celery in this corner, the carrots in this, and I seasoned it and so forth. And but I was able to eat. So you get a whole lot more of the fiber in. Remember, one of the things, and as we looked at Chris' talk earlier, is that he was mentioning that people may not be able to eat these large salads and eat them up well, but if you cook them, if you steam them, and then I also recognize that if you blend it, you can get a whole lot more in. Again, nutrition, using food as a medicine to help fight some of these things. And we did talk about celery, particularly having anti-cancer components, the beta carotene from your carrots, but you get more beta carotene once you steam it, once you add the heat. You don't want to over steam so that it's floppy, but at the same time steam. We talk about grinding your flaxseed, your ginger, we want to add. Okay. Juicing tends to get nutrients to the bloodstream quickly. So especially if individuals are weak, they're not able to tolerate eating, they may be able to tolerate the juices. And so that's one way. Don't just drink once you juice once you're having a juice intake, let it sip and hold it around in your mouth a little bit. There are cells on the side of your cheeks, inner part of your cheeks, that tends to take that juice straight to your bloodstream. So if you kept it in your mouth a little bit, uh, chew your juice, all right? Chew your juices. So move it around in the mouth and then you swallow. It's helpful. If you're weak, you can do the juice would be beneficial. Purees would be beneficial. And for those who have challenges with eating, for whatever reason, their throat might be inflamed from some treatment or whatever reason, you find that it's going to help. Be in tune with your body as you work on and see something adversely impact you. Like I mentioned, if I had raw beets juiced, it caused my throat to be irritated. So I know I definitely need to steam my beets before I could consume it. So pay attention to that and make the changes accordingly. Wheatgrass is super powerful as well as barley grass. I've seen where individuals have used barley grass every single day, and that helped them. They talk about using wheatgrass every single day, and that helped. There was one gentleman where he said he used the fresh wheat grass that he would add to his juices, and he found that was better than adding the powder. But if you do have the powder, because you don't, it is still better than none. So try and incorporate the wheatgrass, the barley grass into whatever you're doing. Moringa also is super important. Moringa also it's like a multivitamin, multi-mineral item, and that's adding nutrition to the body. Okay. All right, so let's just go straight into the meal. So I put together sort of 7 days menu just to get you started and to give you an idea. So we want, say for breakfast time, to have your green cucumber, green apple, could be a whole green apple, wheatgrass, barley grass, moringa. You add to that, mix and you blend, and you drink. So you can look for anywhere like 8 ounces and thereabout. Now, one of the things that I want us to note is that I'm not suggesting that we do all juices either, or large amount of juices, because we do need to chew, we do need to eat food in order to get more benefits. When we work largely on juices, we tend to weaken the stomach because it's not getting enough food to work on. And for a longer duration of time, we can run into problems. So you don't want your stomach and your digestive organs to be weakened, your liver and your in your stomach. And so that's another reason why we would have some cooked food to get those digestive organs working and not going to atrophy, because then you start getting other issues, indigestion, bloating because of that. So we have a juice at least 2 or 3 times a day. But I'll have like juice in the morning, and I suggest a juice in the lunchtime again, for its benefits. And not only do I have carrot juice, but it shows up in the vegetable part of the food for eating. You can add chia seeds. You can also add coconut water to your items if you think you needed it a little bit more liquid. Oatmeal. Oatmeal is an item that has a lot of fiber that helps to feed your gut, beneficial gut bacteria. That's going to be helpful to you. And especially if folks are talking about if they're going to lose weight, so having oatmeal can be helpful. Toast your oats. So get a baking tray. We come from the supermarket, just throw that oats on the baking tray, put it into the oven for like 170 degrees to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and you just let it toast lightly. It's not going to burn. It's not going to change the color. Every 30 minutes, you turn that around and it toasts that oats for you, breaking down phytic acid, breaking down lectins, that can be anti-nutrients. So you do that, run that for about 3 hours, you switch the oven off. The next day I take it out and I repackage it in Ziploc bags or in glass jars. And you have your oatmeal ready. So your oatmeal, we'll cook it, and then you add your nuts, your seeds, your cranberries, your fruits of choice with there. Remember, power up your oatmeal. And that can keep you going. The nuts you get as fats in that meal. You can simply cook your oatmeal in water. You can add almond milk to it that you can make for yourself. I can share the recipe for the almond milk. So that can make a breakfast. And then we have your herbal teas that comes in 2 hours after you're eating. Your lunchtime, we have our juice. So you can make this close to the time, and drink it fresh. You juice your carrots, your celery, your beet, and put some ginger in there. And this was an item for those who looked at the Chris series, and this is one that he did every day. So I just put it back in here. So you can do this and have some juice every day. You can also add yeah, and if you didn't do the green powder mix in the morning, you can add that here as well. Even in the morning, you can add berries to that blend. So it doesn't need to be only green items. You can add berries to it and make your blend. It's a fruit in the morning. So for the lunchtime, even if you juiced earlier and you have to be out, just put it in a glass jar that's airtight, and you take that with me. I've had individuals see them moving around with their juiced item. They keep it in a nice chiller, especially if you're working, and you can have that. If, and you have it sort of cool, chilled, kept well, not going rancid, and you have it when you're out. A nice green salad shows up here, and then you have your legumes, your vegetables that might be stewed up, and your brown rice. Always try and have this nice balance that would help to manage your glucose levels, you to feel well, that you don't go into a state where you're famished. Can any type of tomatoes be eaten? Yes. Yeah, nice organic. Try and get organic. What kind of olives? The black olives, the green olives, they would be soaked in brine solution, salt solution. You have the olives, you rinse them, and you just throw them in your salad. Sometimes we cut them up and you put it all over in your fresh salad. Any teas remaining from the morning, you drink in between your lunch and 2 hours after you finish eating your lunch meal. If you are having a third meal, let it be something light. Pumpkin tend to be great. Pumpkin squash, excellent items that you can have with your meal every day. The other day when I had cancer individuals, we tried to give them pumpkin several times in the week. Pumpkin has anti-cancer properties in it because of the beta carotene. Again, as you heat it up, beta carotene is enhanced. Vitamin A stemming that you make from your beta carotene. We don't want to supplement with vitamin A, but you get it from your beta carotene. Pumpkin is also excellent for the bowels and to keep those bowels clear and moving. So not only carrots, you get beta carotene, but pumpkin as well. And if you can have pumpkin every day, almost several times in a week, it's excellent. You can have it in your breakfast meal, in your evening meal as a nice soup. It's going to be good. So again, in evening meal, soups tend to be thick, not liquidy, and you have all this liquid. Try not. You can add some sweet potatoes in here to thicken it up a little bit. Make sure it's flavorful. If you wanted an evening tea, chamomile or ginger, or plain water. And on day 2, so it follows pretty much the same. Warm water in the morning, have your green drink, which you will determine what that would be. I've put the lemon garlic extract here. I didn't put that in day 1. It's just a miss. So I'll just add that. Oops. So the lemon garlic extract drink, we want to have twice for the week, for the day, sorry, twice for the day. And because of its anti-cancer properties in it, you want to have that in there. So, but you bring it in at the start of your meal, because it's a liquid. It's just a small amount, 3 ounces, and for fighting cancers. Watch if you're on low blood pressure individual, your pressure normally runs low on the low end. You want to be careful with this. I'd say add more garlic to your food, but this blend can help you to reduce the blood pressure. It will also help you to reduce cholesterol levels. Here again, we have oatmeal, adding cardamom, and then your fruits and nuts and seeds. Oatmeal, some individuals and some protocols do oatmeal every day. And again, it's like routine for those people. If you're comfortable with that, then fine. But have some variations. I'll do oatmeal here for our guests, and we still would serve up a cup of peas or do a lentil roast or something, and they'll eat that with a nice dressing at the top, and it's quite filling. So you literally have a carb, and you have your protein, and you have a fruit. So that's good. And then we have, again, your juice, your giant salad, and then your food. And it pretty much follows that principle right across the board. The morning, again, it's all routine. Once you build this into your daily habit, It's easy for you to follow, easy for anybody helping you to follow. At least they can know what to give you, what to prepare for you. Print this out, have it in your kitchen. You can have lots of other foods, plant-based foods, depending on where in the world you are, what's in season. You can have lots of other foods. This is simply just a guide. But if somebody needed to help you and they're not sure what to do, they may see this and say, well, okay, I can give you this, and you'll still be on point in day 7. So this I would send to you. Okay, any questions? Okay, great. So I am interested in, I'll just take a screenshot of all who are present here to make sure we connect. So I am going to send the information to you. All of you are in the chat, right? I believe everyone here, you're in the chat so I can find you. And to send you directly what we've discussed here this evening. Okay, Samsung, Vanessa. Okay.
Dr. Nash, I have a
Yes?
question. Can I ask a question? Interrupt?
Yeah, sure.
The moringa. If you have the moringa seed, do you have to grind it out? And how much would you take?
Okay, moringa seed, you don't have to grind. You can just put that in your mouth and chew it. It's sweet.
How many?
I don't know, the last time I used that, it may have been like about 5.
Okay.
Yeah, about that.
And you can take it every day?
Yes, yeah, you can take it every day. Yeah.
Another question. Onions.
The
Do
moringa
you
that I showed, just one thing, the moringa that showed up in here is the leaf. Moringa leaf.
Okay.
Get a green. Go ahead.
Another question. Onions. Are you supposed to eat it raw or you have to saute it a bit before you use it?
Both, you can have it raw or sauteed in water.
Okay. 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 Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. So that's